logo has us curious. Is it inspired by the bird that's clever, watchful, and always alert to opportunity? We would love to hear the story about it.
Okay, so we have crow in our institute's logo, which represents, so crows are known for knowledge keeping, crows are known for community building, and our logo has a crow that's outward and upward. So it says that we take everyone together. We're all about community and knowledge keepers. So.
Thank you, Team Crow. We now hand it over to, please continue with the presentation.
So, good morning everyone. We are Team Crow from IIM Ranchi, and today we will walk you through our strategic recommendation for XY Corp's expansion in India's energy landscape. So the central question is whether XY Corp should move from being a BTM genset provider to an FTM energy solutions partner. So our answer is yes. The energy as a service industry is growing at 12% annually and the energy storage at 28%. The genset market is also rising but slowly at 5.4% annually, and competitors like Tata and JSW Energy, they are already scaling hybrid projects. So firstly, we recommend our hybrid reliability solutions that will target data centers, industrial customers, industrial parks, and multi-site clients. So we propose a 36-month phased roadmap. We start with pilots, converting to utility partnerships, and then scaling to flex as a service. We will transform the 90% of our transactional revenue into recurring streams, deliver uptime for data centers, and build competitive advantages through utility references, virtual power plant capabilities, and repeatable park templates.
Now moving to our market analysis. The core challenge here is transitioning from a product first to an integrated solutions first approach. Now the competitive landscape shows that the legacy equipment players including Kirloskar and Reese Cotton earn a decent amount, while the renewable specialists including JSW Energy, Tata Power Renewables and Adani Green Energy earns 3 times more and are rapidly scaling. Then, during the research, we also got to know there are 3 key trends that are reshaping this market. The first one is the rise of renewable and decarbonization with stricter emission. The second one is digitization, means customers now expect real-time monitoring and predictive analytics as standard features. Third, grid reliability challenges from the renewable intermittency are also creating massive demand. Now looking at the market projections, renewable capacity is set to jump to 500 gigawatts and energy storage will grow nearly 28% annually, reaching over 1700 gigawatt hours. And the energy as a service market will also rise sharply to $5.6 billion while gensets grow slowly. Now the critical insight here is that the BTM market is evolving as well, not declining. Reliable power remains essential as critical facilities still need 100% backup. So at the same time, gensets are now integrating with the solars and battery system, bridging us toward FTM opportunities. Now growth from urbanization and industrialization demand will also help us in our FTM funding investments.
So we have identified 5 customer personas that are critical to this case. First, hyperscale co-location data centers who have zero tolerance for downtime. Second, CFOs of CAPEX type CNI enterprises who prefer OPEX model through energy as a service with performance guarantee and verified savings. Third, multi-site commercial and industrial plants who want predictable costs and unified SLAs. Fourth, DISCOMs who need flexibility, including support. Fifth, industrial park and port operators who require park-wide reliability, including storage now and hydrogen later. Now these needs translate into 7 FTM opportunities, and we have 3 high priority solutions. First, substation box, which provides utility BESS for distribution companies. Second, data center grid shield, which offers hybrid BESS, which targets high uptime. ParkFlex platforms delivers industrial park-wide shared NOCs with unified SLAs. Now these needs cater to 5 customer pain points, which we were able to identify. First, fragmented vendors which create weak SLAs. Second, 24/7 NOC and automatic SLA credits if target slips. Third, capex frozen customers who prefer energy as a service with demand charge savings. Fourth, operational gaps shows that missing 24/7 NOC and battery SOH visibility. Along with fifth, being the policy friction because customer wants pilot first approaches before scaling. Now the growth is potential here. The energy as a service market expands rapidly by 2030. Data center load is surging as well, and India needs a lot of grid storage energy, with 60% of the outages costing over $100,000.
So we have mapped out our competitors across product range and technology focus. Three key players stand out. First is Tata Power. They pursue hybrid thermal renewable strategy. They are strong in storage, but weak in service depth. Second is JSW Energy, who excel in battery storage and hydrogen pilots, but they lack the needed digital infrastructure. And third is Siemens, who lead in grid digital but struggles with localization and higher costs. So our three-circle value model shows XY Corp's unique position. We will combine guaranteed solutions for smart grids, uptime guarantees with deep service, and integrated power delivery. Our 5 core strengths are engineering excellence with multi-fuel technology, pan-India 24/7 service network, proven backup reliability for critical infrastructure, next-gen technology in hydrogen and batteries, and 3-division integration aligning PGD, CSD, and SSD, which we believe is very important. The competitive comparison again shows that XY Corp excels in backup reliability and service network with strong capabilities across clean energy, digital energy as a service, system integration, and cost competitiveness. Renewable players, they lack reliability. Legacy players, they lack clean technology. And global firms, they lack local execution. So basically, XY Corp uniquely bridges all three gaps. So our strategy prioritizes hybrid reliability solutions first. We will pilot fast, standardized kits, and then scale via energy as a service model. We have identified 6 strategic solutions based on fit and time to revenue. So A1 would be the hybrid retrofit kits that will combine your diesel generators, solar, BESS, and EMS. A2 is the data center battery energy storage systems offering 5 to 20 megawatt hours of fast response. A3 provides substations battery energy storage system pilots for grid integration. B1 delivers industrial park microgrids with shared infrastructure. B2 will offer critical site energy as a service with guaranteed uptime. And B3 enables flex platform for demand response. So our execution also follows 3 phases over 36 months. In months 0 to 12, we will pilot and build references, shipping standardized hybrid kits and proving fast performance under live SLAs. The success gates will include factory playbooks, commissioned sites, and uptime SLAs above 98%. Months 12 to 24, they convert pilots to utility frameworks, and we launch park-wide plus multi-site commercial and industrial solutions. We will template interconnections, meet availability targets, and then secure follow-on sites. Months 24 to 36, deliver critical site energy as a service rollout with 24/7 network operations center and flex platform general availability with monitoring, dispatch, and billing capabilities.
Now, how we work together to achieve behind the meter today, but front of the meter next. First, the PGD division, which is power generation division, they build and connect the kit. They can standardize BESS and hybrid packages. They can handle EPC and interconnect. After that, they can run the factory and site acceptance test with a commissioning safety and SOP. The utility PMO playbook that has permits, grid studies through which protections are standardized and not reinvented. PGD leads in substation box and DC grid shield and supports the other solutions. Next, the CSD, which orchestrates performance. That's our grid code library with state variants, fast transfer logic for uptime, and the BPP gateway. With SOH, the performance is measured and verified, both the shape and the dispatch. CSD co-leads for DC grid shield and leads the R2G, peak plus flex, battery SOH, and flex as a service. Last is the SSD, which runs the outcome, a 24/7 grid NOC which handles monitoring, bidding, compliance, the SLA credit engine and billing and settlement makes the contract look real. Along with this, hybrid field agents scores keep the mean time to repair under guidelines. SSD leads commercial on R2G, Peak Plus Flex and Park Flex, and it supports substation box. On the right are the objectives and key results, which are uncompromised reliability, rapid transfer and grid response, independently verified performance, and a commercial model designed for sticky renewals.
Nominate 6 capabilities. First, battery and storage systems via partnership or acquisition with Exide or Greenco for lithium-ion and LPF technology. Second, renewable integration of solar and wind through partnership with renewable developers like JSW and Adani. Third, digital and IoT platforms combining in-house development and AI or ML partnership with PCS or AWS. Fourth, hydrogen and fuel systems through pilot co-development with Tata Power or NTPC. Fifth, grid services via utility partnerships like L&T. Sixth, project financing and risk sharing with financial institutions for leasing and energy as a service models like HDFC or PFC. Now our business model evolves across 3 stages. We maintain ongoing product sales with one-time equipment transactions. We then grow through solution integration, bundling the gensets, renewables and storage with medium differentiation. We then establish long-term contracts for steady cash flows. Finally, we scale later through energy as a service offering pay-per-use models with uptime SLAs, building high retention and recurring revenue.
So our expansion faces critical trade-offs between revenue and cost challenges. On the revenue side, 3 problems exist. The India's genset market grows slowly with high price erosion. We also face revenue concentration risk as competitors earn recurring revenues from PPAs and service contracts while we remain product dependent. The India Energy as a Service market is also growing rapidly, but XY Corp currently holds 0 share. The key trade-offs are core capability versus margin, revenue model shift versus stability, and market entry speed versus share. We will expand into hybrids 20 to 25% margins, gradually shift towards 30% recurring revenue with a 2 to 3 year payback, and enter as soon as possible. On the cost side, the energy as a service requires the highest upfront capex. Hybrid systems take cost around 3 times more against the gensets. Battery storage also adds hefty costs with higher payback periods. So our approach phases pilots at an initial investment, invests where the 20 to 25% margin is justified, and accepts the 28.46% annual market growth timing. So 4 key risks they require mitigation. First is partnership dependency, for which we will use multi-partner strategy and in-house battery management system development. Second is capex and financing, which we will phase with product sales funding expansion. Third is the competitive response from JSW and Tata, through which we will focus on industrial niche with service depth advantage. And finally, customer adoption, which we will leverage via anchor critical customers to prove reliability paychecks.
So our final recommendation balances exploiting our core business while exploring the future opportunities. So for that, we propose a 2080 resource allocation, wherein we exploit maximized returns from the existing businesses through product sales, cost optimization and market penetration using our 3 current divisions, measured by EBITDA margin, inventory turn and market share. So this generates cash to fund our transformation. Then explore maximizes returns from the new businesses measured by customer acquisition, pilot success rate and innovation velocity. So the balance is very much clear. 20% defend core to avoid the decline, 80% builds future to capture FTM opportunity with core businesses funding the transformation capex. In conclusion, XY Corp stands at an important stage with a narrow window to transform from BTM provider to FTM energy solutions partner. So our hybrid reliability solutions meet unmet customer needs. And by following our phased roadmap and balancing investment, we can establish competitive advantages and become India's leading integrated energy solutions provider. And that's all from our side. Thank you.
So thank thank you for the presentation, and at least you all have looked beyond the meter discussions at least. So question that I had was, as you think about the front of the meter thing, what are the risks in terms of today our discoms are all loss-making entities? And payment from discoms is always a big perennial issue. How have you thought of mitigating that risk?
So what we think is that we will not get into these aspects if we do not clear our stage gates. So the first phase that we have, in which we want to build our hybrid pilots and cater to DCs, if we are not capable enough, if we do not clear our stage gates, like if there are greater than 2% sites hit SLAs plus positive NPV, only then we standardize and scale. So we do not go into a much larger scale, that is front of the meter, if we do not have the capability. So for us, stage gating is very important. You will mitigate your risks according to those stages.
But the risk that happens is when you think of all pilot customers, pilots are all the niche players who have the capex and who have the might to go into some of these technologies. The risk tends to be when you go to the 98%. So how do you manage that? Because pilots, people will pay, you will be happy.
Yes.
The risk happens is when you start growing into the broader scale. So you pass the gate, but then when you enter the main core, how do you manage that risk?
I think that's where our partnership with financial institutions will help, because we're partnering with them, which will help us balance the cost part, and wherein you'll have an edge to take that risk and allow those late payments or allow them to repay later.
So the risk will be with the financial institutions or with us? So that's what I'm saying.
It's a shared risk. You can use a special purpose vehicle to divert the risk. And
I have a question on, I think initially you presented a competition analysis, and you clearly agreed that in the energy as service, the competition is way ahead, where it's, the XY is at 0. And whereas your recommendation on how the investment actually goes is at 20/80, protect the core at 20 and keep, investing at 80. The fact that you have a journey to start and compete from 0, and your recommendation on being as aggressive, right? And then to say here are 3 scenarios, that didn't kind of, make sense to me. So can you just talk, because you either are recommending take the risk slow, whereas your conclusion at the end says quite the other way around.
See, what we have in mind is that we will not push energy as a service right in the beginning. We will only provide energy as a service after a certain time. For example, our B2 critical site, only they get energy as a service, because in our last slide, as we have mentioned, we do not want to transfer our entire funds from our core business. That is why we are keeping just 20%. So the 80% is not just for energy as a service, but for the entire expansion plan. Because even though the price erosion is there, around 15 to 20% for gensets, there is still a 5.4% annual growth rate.
So the switch from where you are, the 20/80 recommendation, is that over a period of time, or even let's say year 1 or 2, because you still need to keep your core going, right? That's
Yes.
what's funding your company.
Yes.
So the recommendation is not very clear. So can you just think through and say, when you made the recommendation on 20/80, is that going to be over a period of time, like 5 to 8 years, 5 to 10 years? Or you're very aggressive to say, we're going to switch within the first 2 years itself to that?
So here we are following the Pareto principle. So wherein the 20%, which is the smaller unit, that will create the major difference in the 80%. So for an initial period of time, like you mentioned, we want to focus, we not only want to directly jump into the FTM investment, we want to focus on a core business at this point, but then again at the same time, we want to invest on our future investments. So that is what we have followed along. And talking about a longer period of time, if things work out that since we are focusing on our core business, but in future if we feel that the plan that we have proposed, if it's working out, we'll still think about it.
Just to add Srinivasa's point, so are we clear that the 20% resources are good enough to support the existing core business that today supports 98% of our revenues?
Because there is a certain decline, 20% should be sufficient enough, because there is a lot of investment in going to front of the meter, because as we have implemented renewable energy in our solutions as well, from our analysis we have come to understand that it costs you around 40,000 per kilowatt when you buy a solar panel commercially. But if you produce it in-house, it will cost you around just 10,000, 7 to 10,000. So on the initial stages, you will need extra investment in order to partner with some product specialists. But as you go down the line, you can maybe also think about producing solar in-house so that you can reduce on your own capex.
And when you look at some of these technologies like solar, right, there are already players in the market that are producing at scale and the cost is lower. So how does a new entrant be better at meeting the costs of the existing players?
So what we are saying is, we use our current distribution network, we use our same customers, but we pitch them that we will, along with genset, we are giving you BESS, we are giving you a hybrid solution, which will, so you're not changing your customer base entirely, you're building it up. You're using the same customers, you're pitching them a different innovative product.
Correct, but the customers still have a choice in terms of saying, yes, I trust you, you have the engine today, you have the genset. But when it comes to a solar discussion, they go back and say, will I be paying 2 times the solar cost to some, because I trust that person, or the purchasing decision would still be at the cost basis, right, from an end customer standpoint?
Yeah, so one of the customer pain points that we have understood is that some customers, they want a single accountable stack. So if you have multiple partners, the customer will not go around and blame either XY Corp or the solar provider.
So what is your assumption is what premium would the customer be willing to pay for a single point solution?
So from our analysis, we have come to understand that the entire hybrid solutions, they have around 20 to 25% of margin on our capex. So we can charge them accordingly, because this industry entirely plays on demand by the customer. We can also keep our production as per the demands, as per the users.
No, so that's why when you look at profits, it's a very dangerous thing because it is linked to our internal costs and our costs would be very,
Yes.
very different. There are players in the market that offer solutions. Just to give a single point solution, how much premium do you think a customer is willing to pay till a point in time he says, I won't pay the premium and manage the hassle in-house?
It should be the 20%, 20 to 25%, yes.
Okay, thanks again. So maybe I'll ask some of the quick questions. On the renewable penetration, which moves from 200 gigawatt to 500 gigawatt, what exact role in this whole thesis it is going to play?
So what we are saying is, sometimes renewals are not that reliable, but with BESS supporting gensets and solar, you will have both renewals at hand, but when there's some technical error or a glitch, your BESS will come into play. So majorly the customer will rely on renewals, but BESS will come into play as and when it dysfunctions.
So more the penetration of renewables, higher is the opportunity for base, and hence the entire opportunity that you see is enhancing, right?
Grows together, yes.
Okay, perfect. Another quick question. On the capacity and capability, is there any specific element that you guys thought that the extra corporation will have to build on?
EMS part?
Yes, we are thinking about having an EMS, current energy management system, through which the customers, they will be able to predict downtimes, because a lot of these critical site infrastructures like data centers, you have airports, you have hospitals, they need live reports. So we will provide them EMS. In our understanding, what we have done is that for each space, like the A series and the B series, we have assumed that the development of the EMS is also a greenfield venture, because if our partnerships don't work out in the initial phases, for example, if you partner with TCS, then they have a certain charge. Then in the second year for another phase of our solution, we might partner with AWS, for example, and they might charge this. So the entire costs also depend on the EMS.
Thank you. Last question. You have been talking about margins around 20-25%. You had the chance to look at any of the players who are into FTM space today, and how are they doing in the market?
So these renewable specialists, so if we take a look at Tata Power, they earn their maximum revenue via thermal renewables. So mostly they are in the front of the meter space. So analyzing all these competitors, we have come to a conclusion that 20 to 25 margins is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Team Pro, for your answers.